If you want to train them, give them a schedule, or give them the tools and the systems in order to get the work done, then they're a certain type of employee. I'll tell you which type they are right now. Let's get to work. Hey, my loves, welcome back. It's me, CP, and it is Facts Friday, which of course, you know, it means I start happy hour a little early. If you're new here and you're not used to my happy hour timing, welcome. This is the channel where I will give you the systems, the processes, the specifics, tips, and tools to help you start and scale your business so that you can experience the entrepreneurial lifestyle of freedom that you ultimately desire. If you are into that, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell in order to be notified about every episode that we do, which is on Tuesdays and Fridays, where I am giving you all I've got to help you be a millionaire entrepreneur. Today is Friday, which is my favorite day, not just because I am allowed to have wine in the middle of the day, but also because I get to answer the questions directly from you, the ones I love to empower, to inspire, to educate, and who actually give me life every day. So let's dive into today's question because it is a good one, and I am sure a lot of you out there are trying to figure out which employee is the best kind to start with. This week's question comes from Brian W. And Brian writes, CP, I'm ready to finally add to my team. Yay, Brian! But I am not sure what type of employee I'm really looking for. I don't think I want to get into payroll and taxes just yet. So what's the difference between an independent contractor 1099 and an employee W-2? Well, Brian and everyone out there, let me get you all the way together on this rumble in the jungle that has always happened.
Let's get ready to rumble!
In fact, it is really a rumble. It is a battle that takes place in the mind of entrepreneurs, especially at that pivotal moment in your business where you are ready to scale. Oftentimes, as a small employer, you will automatically say, I need to add an employee and I'm going to make them a 1099. And the reason I get it is because it's a pain in the ass to do it the other way, right? You automatically know that having a W-2 employee means that you've got to set up some basic HR structures that may not necessarily be in your wheelhouse and easy to do. W-2s require payroll, they require payroll taxes, they require workers' compensation, depending upon what state and country you're in. They require all these different things. And if you're trying not to deal with all those different things at the same time as you're growing your business, then you might naturally gravitate to saying, well, I need to add somebody, so I'm gonna make them a 1099. But to be honest with you, it is not that easy. And quite frankly, it's not really your decision. Whose decision is it? Well, honestly, it's the IRS's decision. And they have already decided what it really means to have a 1099 versus a W-2. And there is some very specific requirements that exist in order for you to classify the proper employee. Now, when I talk about classification or misclassification, I am in essence talking about another one of those major HR mistakes that I see entrepreneurs and small business owners make. I'm going to link to that video, which we've already done in a different episode, on what those mistakes are right here. So I want you to check that out because in there I talk about misclassification and some of the ramifications, consequences, and most importantly, taxes and fines. Yeah, big money that you will pay if you just choose to do what you want to do because you think it's going to be too hard to do it the right way. So let's specifically dive in right now into what the IRS says is the difference between a 1099 versus a W-2 so that you have all the information that you need in order to make the right decision. But I want you to make the right decision based upon where you see your business scaling to and not just because you're in unfamiliar territory and you just too afraid to move forward. So let me just break this down for you, okay? Really simple. Choosing a 1099 employee or independent contractor, I should say, versus a W-2 employee is all about one thing. And that one thing is control. There are three primary areas of control that I really need you to think about and that you have to determine in order to figure out the type of employee you want, or that you actually may already have and just misclassifying or putting them in the wrong category. And the IRS is very specific about what those three areas are. So it's not really your choice. Let me break these down for you. The first area of control is behavioral control. And it sounds exactly like I just said it, behavioral control. It is all about whether or not you want to control the behaviors of the person, meaning how the work is done. So you want them to follow a specific process that you may have created or implemented in your business, and you want them to do it step by step the way that you do it so that the end result is that your customer experience is exactly the same. And make sure you check out my video on business processes in order to kind of get where I'm going with that. But if you want to control how the work is done or the timing of when the work is done, meaning this particular thing you want to do Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or Mondays from 12 to 2, Wednesdays from 12 to 2, and Fridays from 12 to 2, if you're in that kind of behavioral control space, then technically that person is not being treated like a 1099 independent contractor. They are being treated more like a W-2, right? Because as a 1099, you can't control how the work is done or when it's done. All you can do is say, I need the work to get done, so I just need you to deliver an end result, and you ain't got no say in how that end result gets to you, or sometimes even when. So if you want to have control over how and when, they ain't a 1099, boo. They a W-2. The second area of control that I really need you to understand and consider when you're deciding what type of employee you want to add to your team, and that is financial control. If you have some type of control over the business side of things, meaning how they're paid, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, you kind of decide all of those things, or the tools that they use, or the systems that they use, or other specifics of the worker's job. So if you want somebody who's going to use your CRM system, for instance, you're going to give them an email address so that all your emails can come directly to them. You're going to have them using your chat customer service system, or you're going to ultimately be mandating that they use some type of operational system that you've created or that you mandate, then that is considered to be financial control. Or let's just say you've hired somebody and you're giving them the trucks to use or the supplies to use or whatever it is. If you're paying for that, and sometimes it even deals with how you're reimbursing them for things, that signals to the IRS this is not a 1099, y'all. This is a W-2. And the next area of control that you really want to evaluate whether or not you want it or whether or not you already have it is contractual control. Contractual control really describes things like whether or not you are offering the person a benefits package of any kind or incentives, benefits offering, or if your implication or contract that you have with the person gives the indication that they cannot freely work on other projects or work with other people. So it's not just what the contract says, because I have worked with smart alecky people, quite frankly, that have said, well, you know, our contract says they're independent. It doesn't have to necessarily be written. It can also be implied. And so if it's implied to that person, or quite frankly to the IRS, that you're really treating them like a W-2, regardless of what your contract says, then that's a problem. So ultimately, the 1099, you don't have any contractual control over. You can't dictate who they work for, whether or not they use their own branding, whether or not they brand the services with their own company. That is 1099. Anybody that you want to ultimately control who they work with, whether or not you incentivize them and offer them any kind of benefits for doing the work, whether or not they use your brand and your business, then that's could be more likely a W-2. So that brings me to the next question, which is, how do you choose? Well, I'm going to keep it real for you. You ultimately want to first figure out how much control you want. If you can answer the question and say, I want to be able to train them on my processes. I want to be able to make sure that they're using my systems. I want to make sure that they're representing my brand and using my stuff. Then technically you want a W-2. If you answer that question and you say, I don't care if they use their own business. I don't care when they do it or how often they do the work. I don't care how they get the work done. I just need this project completed. Then that technically is a 1099. So that's really how you choose how much control you want over the end result, the work product, what's being communicated, whether or not they're using their own business, and exactly what they're giving you and how they're getting it done. Control is how you decide. And now I'm going to give you a CP impact tip, because there are a few other types of employees that I do not address in this answer that you also may want to consider, because there are specific classifications of statutory employees, statutory non-employees, and some types of government workers that can really kind of be the fine line between a 1099 and a W-2. And so I don't have time to get into those today, but you can go ahead and Google them. You can look them up and see what the differences are. And you can always go to irs.gov and, kind of get through all the minutia all over that site. And it will actually tell you how to define those things, because you may decide, hey, the position I'm thinking about or the skills that I need kind of fall in between all of those things. And so they may actually fall into one of those other categories that I just mentioned. So in essence, you just need to choose the type of employee that is going to help you meet your end goal and grow your business. Do not make the decision about having a 1099 versus a W-2 based upon being lazy and not really wanting to start payroll or pay taxes, because that really has nothing to do with it. If you make the wrong decision, it can be extremely costly, and in some instances, even cost you your business. So with that being said, thank you so much, Brian, for your question. I want the rest of you to make sure you watch these videos next. They are going to help you in some other areas of HR and take what I talked to you about today to that next level. And until next time, get out of the office, meet me at happy hour, and mwah, goodbye.